right now, as you watch this video, your mind is running on beliefs that are not yours. Beliefs have been installed without your permission, and the people who have installed them rely on you never figuring it out and taking back your power. This is Morality Matters, and today we're going to be discussing the difference between the real, true, empowered self versus the false, egotistical slave. This is going to allow you to take back your power, remember who you are, and change the world in the way that it must be changed.
Free your mind.
It was Albus Dumbledore that said this amazing quote that will summarise the entirety of this video in context. Happiness can be found even in the darkest of times if only one remembers to turn on the light. The power and the choice is yours. Do you want to remain in the matrix, or do you want to remember and realise who you truly are and achieve your wildest dreams? Because you can do anything that you set your mind to. It's a choice away. And in fact, the world will not get any better until people at large change themselves. You can start this, and this video will help you do that. And so the method, of course, to be able to do this, to be able to really open your mind, is you have to discover your true self, who you really are and are meant to be versus who you perhaps might be right now. Because believe it or not, as much as you might want to put it aside, there are belief systems that have been ingrained into your mind since birth, and there are toxic poisons that have been infiltrated in everything that you do on a day-to-day basis. And your job is to realise those, free yourself from them, and really work towards what you are here to do. You must free your mind, and it is your path to walk. I can only show you the door and put some information in front of you that might help. It is your choice to take, but the guarantee is you can do it. And so to be able to understand who we really are, we must understand human nature. It has been absolutely obfuscated in this day and age. People think that we are inherently good or inherently bad, when actually, if you do some deep research into modern science, it will help you understand that largely human beings are not inherently good or bad. Our human nature is that we are a programmable species. We are like a biological computer. From childhood, in our formative years, our brains and our being is formatted. We are put into a certain system. We are given information that gets into our subconscious, and then as good or bad information comes in, correspondingly good or bad information will come out. It's an input, processing and output system. Our brain is similar to a biological computer. Formatting things, it has short, medium and long form memory, a hard drive in a sense. It's all analogous. We are not completely computers because we're not robot automatons, but we are like a computer. We are given culture and belief systems that are often, if not always, flawed and dogmatic. It is our job to free ourselves from this. We must develop this internal antivirus, develop a decluttering system, and put the things that are not helping us into that recycling bin and then empty that thing. We can do it. It's always a choice, and the beauty of us being programmable means that the power is always with us. It's a matter of will we do it. Like I say, it is input, processing and output. If bad code comes in, or malware, if that comes in, it will reflect the outcome. You can't put something bad in and then get a good outcome. Similarly, can't put something good in and get a bad outcome. Input, processing and output. And it's similar when it comes to how you truly learn. We'll get to that in a future episode in the trivium, but the point is, we are a programmable species. We are neither good nor evil innately. We are conditioned via our environment and influenced by, of course, our predispositions, genes, things like that, but largely our environment is what is key here. People always have the debate in scientific circles of nature versus nurture. The viewpoint that I'm proposing is that actually human nature is nurture. As many things do, when we have two opposing sides, you'll come to find that the actual truth lies in a combination of the two. It's a huge theme of this channel, and it's key. And the way to do this is to analyze our programming, to look at the internal algorithms that we have running, the systems and the coding that is inside of ourselves. All it takes is some introspection and some inner work and some change and some being honest with ourselves and stop lying to ourselves and living in a dream state. We analyze our programming and our belief systems. We change it by removing these viruses, by getting rid of the dogma and the negative inputs and the trauma. We don't have to stay an eternal victim. We can change it at the drop of a hat. It's a matter, once again, of will. And so if you haven't gathered in this day and age, there is a control system that is keeping us all largely in an open prison, in a large slave system. As much as people want to think that they're free, we are seeing the last trickles of real freedom be eroded as people allow it to be. But have no doubt that in the current times, when you look at it on paper and understand what to look for, we are largely enslaved. And alongside this, we have been controlled, manipulated, and we actually are victims of a control system. But again, it doesn't have to stay that way. It is a matter of remembering who you are, taking off the rose-coloured glasses and seeing the world for how it truly is. In the future, I'll get into deeply the control system that actually exists, why it exists, why it perpetuates, because it can all be studied and it can all be understood and done away with, because it's a less than 1% that controls all of us. The power is with us, always. But first, we must get rid of the nonsensical belief systems that we have, and we must see the world for what it truly is. Any good scientist or quantum physicist will help you understand that perception and truth are not the same. When we look out into the world, we only see a tiny, tiny, tiny amount of the visible spectrum, of the electromagnetic spectrum, which is visible light. This is a fraction of a percentage, 0.005%, maybe smaller, of what actually is out there in all of the waves and frequencies. We see a tiny, tiny amount of what's truly going on. We see visible light. And outside of that, people want to think that it doesn't exist, but we know it does because we have things like Bluetooth, Wi-Fi. You can't directly see them, but you know that they have an effect. And then people want to understand those, yet they still want to shirk off the idea that there's different dimensions, an afterlife, things that go on behind the scenes. If we understand from the earliest age possible and rid ourselves from the idea that the 3D realm is all that exists, if we realise truly that there are huge amounts of things that are going on behind the scenes, we really can open our eyes and free our mind to what is truly going on, to the potential that we have, to the potential love that is a creator has for us, where we were before this life and where we're going afterwards. There's so much more going on, and there's spirit, there's love, there's pure infinity that underlies all of this. This place isn't all that exists. Sorry to all the atheists and all the scientists, scientismists, the people that think that this is all that matters, and then when you die, it's lights out. Unfortunately, you've just got another religion, because that is not true. Not because I say so, but because once you really do the study and you have some compassion and understanding, and hey, maybe take 10 grams of mushrooms, then you will come face to face with the creator, and then try and tell me that we just live in a 3D only realm. So the point is, we must eradicate ourselves from the belief that all that we see here is all that exists. Open our mind. We see a tiny amount of the visible light spectrum, and it is pure naivety to claim that the visible world is all that exists. When we understand this, we don't have to conclusively understand it, but we have to realise there's potential there, there's possibility there. To really learn and grow in the material plane, it is necessary to understand and to consider the unseen, and of course, the laws of the unseen. There are laws of creation, there is truth that does exist, and there is beauty and love and potential for you to walk into the slipstream of. So there is perception, our perception, that is like a wave constantly doing this, and then there is truth that moves in a straight line, unwavering, and the job is to bring them in alignment. Only when we align perception with truth, they are harmonizing together, and then we are truly able to change and improve and learn and grow and do what we were here to do. This is the very beginning of freeing your mind and yourself and having the right worldview, because this is what it's all about. The main problems with our society now is worldview violence. People thinking that something is a certain way or seeing the world for a certain lens, and not for even a second, not getting stuck down into a specific way of thinking. I'm not proposing to you something is definitely this way. I'm just telling you, for even just a moment every day, step out of the box of your belief systems and your dogma of this is the way everything is. Step back and think, just like the philosophers said in ancient Greece. To know is to understand how little you know. There is so much going on, so much knowledge out there, we couldn't even nearly gather all of it. And yet people want to think that what they know is true, what they have been raised into believing in their religion is all that exists, and anything outside of that bubble, junk. It's demonic, it's pseudoscience. Hey, the catchphrase of the intro of this video, of this channel, free your mind. That's what it's all about, and it's what the elites of this world fear you doing. Freeing your mind is necessary, and this can help you do that. So in this day and age, unfortunately, people are just like in these pictures, asleep at the wheel, thinking that they're making anything positive or making any change, but they're sitting there in the auditorium, closed, sitting back, or at the very most, they're that armchair quarterback sitting there, yeah, go team, trying to orienteer what someone else is doing, trying to live someone else's life. Meanwhile, their own life is slipping away. You must get out of the armchair, get out of the sleep trance, and orienteer your life yourself. And if you do, unfortunately in this day and age, you will also be like this guy in the picture, seeing, when you take off the glasses, you see everyone around you, they're asleep, they're zombies, they're ants, they're sheep. And you might have your head in your hands. I know I do sometimes. Don't let that overcome you, because awakening is not always often pleasant. You will realise how asleep people are, but at least then you know when you're walking on the correct path. The truth is, just like Carl Jung said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. You must bring to light the hidden things that are in your mind, bring them forward so that you stop acting on unconscious things that have been ingrained into you without you even knowing or being conscious of them. It was also Carl Jung that said one of the most important quotes when it comes into terms of awakening and understanding, becoming enlightened. One does not become enlightened by being some Buddhist on a mountain like this. They don't become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. The latter procedure, however, is disagreeable and therefore not popular. People are loath to do this work. They want to shrug it off, stay in the ego and say, I've got it all figured out. What I do, I'm fine with. I'm happy where I am. I'm in my comfort zone. They won't make that unconscious conscious. And until they do that, they are only going to get more of the same at the very best. Chances are it's going to decline and decline until they get to the very hardest time of their lives, and only then will they have a tiny window of getting out. So when you do wake up again, you are going to feel like a minority of awake people. You will be. It's a sad fact of the matter. But the point is, your job, believe it or not, is to change that. is to awaken yourself to the great enough extent, at least for now, because it's a constant process. Awaken yourself and then help others do the same, and then society will follow. This is the recipe for freedom, and it's the recipe for curing all the junk and nonsense and dystopian craziness that is coming about in the year 2025. And without a doubt, it is true that hurt people hurt people. We all have had our trauma. We have all had our perhaps abuse or troubled times in the past. We all could very easily claim to be victim of at least one thing. The problem is you're not responsible for what happened to you. You're responsible for being able to change it. You have to step out of the things that may have happened in your past, recognize them, face one-to-one with them, and then do your very best, especially with certain methods, to try and overcome them, work with them, form alchemy of transmuting the base, lower, dense metals into pure alchemical gold, transforming the nonsense and the bad parts of the past into something great and good and beautiful. It is part of our work while we are here incarnated. It is for you to do. People can only present information to you to help you do that, but you must do it yourself. Nobody said it's going to be easy, but it is doable. And so I've had a few episodes now on mind control. This will be a recurring theme in the future because it's so omnipresent in absolutely everything. But what I do want to say is that you must be conscious of three things: thought control, emotional control, and behavioural control. This is key into understanding how you can free yourself and how, until now, you have been controlled by the ruling elite class. They know your psychology better than you ever could, and you have to level the playing field to the best ability that you can. And when you do that, they have no more power. If you're playing football and you barely know how to even dribble a ball, and these people are professional FIFA World Cup champions, they're going to wipe the floor with you because they understand how the game is played, they have more practice, and your job is to learn the rules and beat them at their own game. Once you have equal knowledge to them, their power is lost. And largely, it's a huge amount of information of how they control you, but largely it's your thoughts, emotions, and actions that they are manipulating. Because as we've discovered in the past, these are our expressions of consciousness. And when they have those in a tight grip, you are done for. They have you doing whatever they want you to do. Meanwhile, you think you're still free. And meanwhile, you still think you're doing it of your own accord, and then it's good for you. They manipulate your thoughts through the media, through belief systems and culture and tradition. They manipulate your emotions through social media, through certain phrases and ways of doing things and presenting things, the news especially. And then as you think and as you feel, you will act. And action is key. It's the thing that causes karma. It's the thing that ultimately matters. Whoever took the action is key. And then when you perform these actions, you keep doing them, it becomes a repeating cycle until you realize, recognize, and break free. Take back your thoughts and your emotions, and then your actions will follow. Start doing what's right. Know what's right, and then do so. Of course, the theme of this episode is who you truly are versus who you aren't. And it's hard to not get into a huge vitriolic rant about this. But in this day and age, everyone, 99% of people, maybe more, are living every waking moment in these aspects of consciousness. And not because I say so, but because it is absolute matter of fact, these things, these ways of living that I'm about to present to you are the keys that are holding you into the lower forms of consciousness. They can only bring you more harm, more suffering, more desire, more of the same, more dissatisfaction. They are the things that are preventing you from doing anything truly great. And you don't have to be some huge war general or a president or a king to be great. You simply have to be someone who has broken your chains of mind control, become the black sheep, and realise who you truly are and what you're here to do. And stop living in these nonsensical, hey, some of them have a place, but only when you focus on them 24/7, 365, only then will you have a horrible life. These things are not who you truly are. These things are designed to keep you in a trap, serving someone else, not serving anything good or beneficial. They want to keep you on the hamster wheel, the rat race, the sleep zombie mode. You, my friend, are not your labels. You are not, hey, you might think you are, and on some level you are. I'll get to it, but who you truly are is pure infinite consciousness, pure awareness expressing itself in a human vessel for a tiny drop in the ocean of eternity. You are not your labels. You might want to claim, I am a disabled Asian, war veteran, handicapped, gender queer, non-binary, Christian, on and on and on and on and on. For as long as you claim any of these labels, and they just stack on top of each other, on top and top and top, and it's so prevalent now in society, and it's not by accident. And it is terrifying that in the year 2025, there are so many people, there's a whole movement of clinging onto how many flags you can hold up, how many labels that you've got, how many pronouns you have. It's no accident that it is this way. And I've said it before, I'll say it again. I couldn't care less who you want to identify as, who you want to sleep with, whatever you do with your life, as long as it's not bad, as long as it's not harming another person, I should say. Go for it. As long as you don't infringe it upon anyone else and force and coerce someone else into complying with your will and your way of seeing things. Free reign, enjoy. Identify as a rhinoceros for all I care. The truth is, it's been engineered this way to keep us from realising the only true state of who we really are is someone that has zero isms following who we are. The only label that really we should identify with is pure awareness, pure consciousness, spirit expressing itself in many different ways, briefly, to learn and grow in consciousness. I'll get deeper onto it later on in the episode, but you are not your labels. They may help you understand where you stand in certain places, your past perhaps. Put it aside. It doesn't matter. These are things only used to divide us, to help us not truly understand who we really are, and to prevent us from really progressing. Labels and isms, they don't matter. You may think that they do, and unfortunately it's a coping mechanism for a lot of people. If you're hurt, you're going to cling on to it, especially the victim status. It's not who you are. I'm sorry I have to just put it that blatant, but you've got to get past it. And it's not because I say so, we cannot be divided. We cannot be separated in this way. Unity and oneness is the only way that we get ourselves out of the tyranny that is encroaching upon us worldwide. So other than that, you are not your labels, you are not your career, your job, how much money you earn, your status in the hierarchy. Doesn't matter. It might matter to you, it might matter to your friends and family and that partner that you have. Truly, it doesn't matter. And chances are your boss doesn't care about you. The company you work for doesn't care about you. If you're self-employed and you still have a great job, unless it's right livelihood, which is great, and of course we all need a job, we all need to make money. Again, it's not who you are. It's who you briefly are playing the role of in this time to obviously make a living, etc. But too many people now just want to think, all I am is a doctor or a lawyer or a, fancy businessman with my tie. It's just another way of holding you down and making you think that you're a certain way when truly you are none of them. You are not your social persona, your status, your role in the neighbourhood or in society. Again, just another thing to divide and to separate. The religion and the God of all humanity, other than the ego, is money. You are not your money. That number of zeros in your bank account, or that big fancy Amex credit card that you have, or your lovely possessions and house that you have, it's just more 3D monetary stuff. Of course, I'm not going to say be some pauper living out on the street begging every day to get your daily amount of bread. Don't take it to the extremes of what I'm saying, but you are not your amount of money. It's just another thing to make us separate. Worshipping money, living only for money. And I ask you right now, how many people do you know, unfortunately probably including yourself, do you know that wake up every single day, the first thing that they think about, perhaps other than how hungry am I and who can I get with today, the first thing they think about, how can I make more money? Once again, it has a role. If that's all you focus on, my friend, you are living a shallow life. Any billionaire, any rich person will tell you it's not always cracked up to be. It's about who you become in the process. Money is an amplifier. It will simply amplify who you are already, at best. At worst, it will turn you into a moreover degenerate, because it will just mean that you can just be stupid with your money and do stupid stuff and buy stupid things and waste it. It's the God that everyone worships. Next, and this is a hard one for many people to hear, you are not your religion. Did he just say that? Yes, folks, you are not your religion. I'll have a whole episode on it in the future because it's hard, again, to not go on a rant about it, but religion is only used to control and divide us. There are true aspects to all of them. Absolutely. And the underlying part of them all, yes, there is a creator. Yes, there is consciousness. Yes, there is perhaps certain expressions of it. The idea of Christ not being a literal person, of course, being an actual form of consciousness for another episode. They all have their trickles of truth. What is it? It's just another dogmatic belief system that is used to control, to divide, to separate, and to stop us from realising true morality and understanding who we truly are, the interconnectedness of us all. Instead, it is something for you to be born into by location or family or whatever. You say, here and no further, this is my book and my set of doctrine that I believe. Screw everything else. They couldn't have any truth about themselves. No. Ignore everything else. Me, I'm my religion. Just another ism. Combine this with all the above. Perfect slave. Don't become an atheist because that's just another religion. Have a one-to-one connection with the Creator and realise God is within. It's not to be found in some fancy old man wearing a nice robe. Finally, you are not your possessions. You may have the nicest house on the block. You may have the fanciest car, and you might have the loveliest $5,000 suit. You may have all of these things. Are you satisfied within? Chances are you're not. If you are, good for you, because of course they can come alongside it. You can be, enlightened and have all of these things. That's great, and that's possible. But again, this is about you are not that. That's not who you should identify as. That's not who you are. It's just something that you briefly possess in this tiny incarnation. So with all of these things combined, they all have their place. But as long as we understand they are not our true nature and our true identity, you're in a good path. Beyond this, what does everyone worship beyond money? No, it's not an all-loving, all-powerful, intelligent creator. Partly it might be. You'll know the ultimate God of the entire planet right now, the main thing that is holding us back from any progress and unity and utopia, for lack of better terms. It's the worship of the ego. And in other words, what is the worship of the ego? Without any euphemisms, my friends, the worship of the ego, seeing the self as God, as not the true, we are all expressions of creation and creator, and we are all gods, lowercase g, that's true. No. Me, my ego, that's God. You know what that is? That is Satanism. It doesn't have to be some black robe, goat sacrificing, blood ritual cult. No, my friends, Satanism is the worship of the ego as God. As all that matters is me, myself and I, maybe my friends and family, maybe, if you can stretch to that. How much more material can I get? What better status can I get? Who can I tread upon to get everything that I want? If you're going to tell me that that's not the thing that inspires and motivates every single person from the minute they wake up to the second they go to sleep, every single day of every year, 99.5% of people, you're lying to yourself, and you're lying to me, you're lying to the world. This is the thing that people worship, and it is the key to holding us all back, because the people who run this world, they may not even use the title, they are Satanists, and they want you in a mini-me mindset of being that, so that you can worship the self as well. And they know no real progress can be brought about this way. It works for them because they've got all the world in their hands, they've got all the resources they like, but instead they've got you running on a little treadmill, trying to follow in their footsteps, accruing as much material and finance and pleasure that you can. I'm here to tell you that that's not the case. They all have their place, and we all, ego is there for a reason. We shouldn't just shun it and just put it aside as evil and junk. It's to be used. It's to be utilised as the tool that it is, because it has its place, but it's not what we should live as, and we certainly shouldn't have it as God. Instead, my friends, beyond all that stuff and all that junk and nonsense that you are not, you want to know what you truly, really, 100% are. And again, not because I said so, it's because when you do enough research, enough internal study and introspection and expansion of consciousness and spiritual practice and research and cross correspondence from all the mystery traditions and religions and cultures, you will come to see this very fact of the matter. Who you really are is a multi-dimensional being, having a human experience as an eternal soul, experiencing life to learn and grow in consciousness, to get yourself to a good enough level of that consciousness, help others do the same, following the golden rule of doing unto others as you would or wouldn't want done to yourself, and flourish and grow and help be stewards of this planet, be stewards of the animals that exist here, and to be fellow sentient beings of your fellow man. We love so much to identify with these labels and these worldly experiences and our past traumas and our victimhoods and our ways of looking, our hair colour and eye colour and skin and clothes. They are unimportant when we really compare our true nature. If anyone is trying to tell you that you are something other than pure awareness, experiencing itself, pure everything that is, has been and ever will be, placed in a vessel of experience on this lower dimension for a brief amount of time, if they tell you you're anything other than that, they're either trying to sell you something or they are rather stupid. Who we really are is someone incarnated into this 3D realm, that this realm has discoverable, studyable, scientific and natural laws for us to understand, utilize and harmonize with, collectively infringe upon no other, and then, only then, can we bring about and create true freedom on this planet. And therefore, the information on how to become your true version, how to really step back and learn who you are, and the information on what is truly going on when you lift the veil of our tiny, tiny amount of stuff that we can see in the visible light spectrum, this information has been hidden. Now, it's no accident that in the year 2025, people are more willing, more just so stuck in living in certain belief systems, labels. They think that their gender identity is everything. Unfortunately, and it's controversial, this is no accident. It's been engineered this way to separate and divide and conquer. Because this is the key, the most ancient technique of controlling the masses, is make them think that they're separate, make them lonely, traumatize them, give them a dogmatic belief system. No good progress can come about from that. So this powerful information about who you truly are, and the fact that we really are all connected, and as one suffers, all suffer, that we are all one under the Creator, not in some hippie, we're all one, man. The information of this truth has been so deeply hidden to keep us enslaved and divided, and to prevent us from actually really making progress internally by ourselves and in the collective. The truth surrounding all of this is that you are a sovereign being. The word sovereign simply means that you are above or free from rulership or control. Super in Latin and regnum, rex regis in Latin. Above or free from rulership or control. In other words, your true nature, other than what I've already said, is that you are not a slave. You are now, unfortunately, in an open prison, a slave that is so fooled into thinking they are truly free, so you don't desire to actually break free. Currently you are, but you don't have to be. You are not by your nature, and you aren't destined to be that. You have to break free. Now, really, to do this, you must understand the solutions. You must understand the key mindset and worldview. Freeing worldview. Instead of being hunkered down into one set, free your mind, open your mind. Your mind must be like doors on double hinges, swinging wide open towards knowledge and towards growth and change and improvement. So once you really learn the truth about human nature, about natural law, consciousness, you begin to see that everyone else is deep asleep in their slumber, as a zombie with their sunglasses on, with their eyes firmly closed tight. They have no care or no drive to truly know themselves, to make a change in the world, to actually do anything positive other than the slight tiny little good deeds that one can maybe do if you're lucky. Everybody wants to see change, but no one wants to be the change. And as Gandhi says, you have to be the change that you want to see in the world. Change yourself first, and then we can change the world. So once you speak out against evil, ignorance, stupidity, you will become ostracized, you'll become laughed at, you'll become the black sheep. Don't let this distract you, don't let it get to you. The slaves shall serve, the morons will laugh. Who cares? Who would want to be them anyway? Who would want to be some joker, some clown that doesn't even know their true nature, doesn't have any true purpose other than serving themselves? And it's not about being better than anyone else. It's not about being superior or ruling anyone else. It's about you standing firmly in the righteousness of who you are and what you know to be right, and let no other say nay. When you do that, people will laugh all they like, and you'll laugh back. You pity them, if anything. There's no hierarchy about it. You're not better than anyone. Like I say, you are just along the path in a different way. You've just seen certain things that they haven't seen yet. So it's your job to help them. They'll laugh. Who cares? They're jokers. They're junksters. I need to phrase a new term. They are junksters. You will be laughed at, and you may be like the guy in the first image of just head in the hands, what am I doing here? But you're not crazy, you're just waking up. The truth is, following and spreading truth will lose you some friends, but you will gain the ultimate friend, and that is the connection that is between you, your soul, between God's spirit, and you will have walked in to the slipstream of beauty, creation, growth, and ultimate potential. Before you make any real external change, you must go within. Introspection. No mediator between you and the Creator, no fancy building, no fancy robes, not even any rituals that you need to do necessarily. You must fix, know, and look within. You must know yourself. Only then can you start moving outwards and causing real change with your actions. Almost everyone spends every waking moment serving their own selfish desires. They never consider others. They never work for any sort of higher purpose. You don't have to be some pious monk, living every waking moment for this cause, but you have to have some sort of progression towards developing your soul and your spirit. No one does that, unfortunately. That's for them to struggle with. By the fact alone that you're listening to this and you've come this far, you've got great potential. I don't know what part of the path you already are on. There is a path nonetheless, and you are certainly walking it. But don't give up. Don't let anyone change that. Don't let anyone stand in the way. Self-service to a point of disregarding others makes you a Satanist by way of action. Satanism is not the childish view of child sacrifice and animal sacrifice. It is the worship of the ego as God. And again, the ego is a tool to be used, but not to be worshipped. And the thing that keeps us in this ignorant, slave, coward state is ignorance. Ignorance is evil. Ignorance is death. It's not bliss. It is the root cause of all stagnation and preventing any order and freedom to come about. As we saw in a previous episode, it goes love, knowledge, freedom, order, fear, ignorance, cowardice, chaos. You have to get out of ignorance because it's not bliss. What you ignore will still come for you. It doesn't matter how much you ignore it. And especially being inactive based on this will prevent you from doing anything good, and you cannot expect to actually benefit or truly gain anything positive and good as long as you are just in this ignorant, cowardly mindset. And so, solutions. Unfortunately, most people, they do not love themselves. You don't have to be some egomaniac or some narcissist to just love yourself. But at the very least, you have to look in the mirror. Every time you look in the mirror, look yourself deeply in the eyes and say, I know who I am and I love myself. No fakery about it. Truth and honesty to yourself. You have to love yourself and love who you are and respect yourself. Respect simply means to look at, again, re and spectare. Take another look at who you really are. Respect yourself. Love yourself. Value your thoughts, emotions and actions and your possibility in this place. We often have deeply suppressed trauma, which stays in the subconscious mind, and unless it's healed and brought to the surface, it will just rule our actions more and more indefinitely. It leaves us feeling that life is meaningless, unnecessary, we're destined to fail, that I'm just little old me and I'm not here to do anything just much. I'm just here to just, make my money, eat my junk food, watch my TV and rinse and repeat. Hey, if you want to do that, be my guest, but you're holding yourself back and you're holding everyone else back. And why would you want to do that? And above all, this trauma, this ignorance and inaction, it makes us try and give away our responsibility. Unfortunately, even start following orders, which is very much a huge root of all evil. It stops us from being able to exercise our conscience and thus truly love ourselves. Responsibility and self-love and self-respect is key. You have to become responsible for your own property, your own being and your own consciousness. When you do that, the people that currently do control you and your mindset, which do exist, they will not be able to control you anymore. The second you take back your power, recognize the sovereignty that is inherent within you, and you start working towards growing for the better. Take a look in the mirror. Realize the quality of the input into you will determine the quality of the output. Self-respect being developed can allow inner healing, especially the healing of self-loathing, which is present in most people. Thus, it allows us to walk a path of becoming out of an order-following, ignorant coward, and we start to follow conscience, our true inner voice, all-knowing, intuitive power. You start loving yourself. You see yourself as a sovereign, beautiful individual, worthy of all the best things and things that you set your mind to, that you really desire and need and must become. You must earn it. You must work towards it. You must become responsible and fight for your freedom. Work for it to heal yourself and then heal others. Learn and grow. Life is a gift. This moment is a gift. That's why it's called the present. And so, how to become free? As the individual, it begins with the individual, it follows in society, and then we can reach for the stars. Heal your mind control in all of its forms. Be non-dualistic. No falling for each side, Pepsi or Coke, left or right. This team. Bring it together. Be non-dualistic. Have no internal conflicts. Balance the hemispheres of the brain and the expressions of our consciousness. Walk in this center path that I speak of. Develop and gain knowledge of the real, true nature of ourselves and our beings. Work towards understanding this universe around us and the pure consciousness that is around us all. And of course, understand the abominable current state of humanity that we have been worked into for centuries, that we must work towards getting out of. Otherwise, in the next few years, we are going to see our freedoms and our collective ability to even think vanish. We are on the breaking point of freedom and total worldwide domination, slavery. We all have free will. As much as you want to think we're all determined in what we do, we can free our minds. We have the power within, and we must work together. Put aside all of our differences, come together and change ourselves and change the world. So just to summarise here, deeply integrate into your being the false self versus the true self. The false self is attached to ego, to a false worldview or a belief system. It doesn't have any knowledge or desire to know anything about the self or the universe. Has no desire to really help anyone truly or do any good for that matter. Just wants to gain for themselves, regardless of who suffers accordingly. They are ignorant, dualistic, full of internal contradictions, and they only want more control, not freedom. No matter what they say or intend, that is what they will create, and that's what they stand for. Ultimately, they are the ones contributing to evil continuing in this world, and only when they stop and say no can we change the world, both directly and indirectly. And on the other hand, the beautiful, wonderful being that we must recognize and work towards is one that possesses knowledge about the self and the universe, the occult, in other words, the hidden knowledge, that's all it means. They have a desire to know more. They strive to live a balanced and holistic, non-dualistic life, one that works towards truth, towards love and freedom. They understand that all beings are sovereign. They own themselves. You cannot own the property of another person, especially just their being. You cannot rightfully steal from them or claim authority over them. We understand we are all connected. We all possess inherent rights. We understand things like government being a control system or slavery. We desire to grow in consciousness, to learn truly, help others, do good, live in harmony with the laws of nature. It's a process. You don't have to be perfect. You're not just going to be some perfect light being at all times. It's about walking the path. It's about acknowledging it. And as long as you're not doing the previously mentioned things of the false self, and you start working towards the things I've just mentioned, you'll be all right, okay? So, are you the ego or are you the soul, the false or true self? All of these things that are listed in this image are just more symptoms of the illusion or the fact of the matter, the truth. Attachment to ego is what keeps people in fear, ignorance, stagnation, failure. They're stuck with either I already know what's best and I couldn't possibly be wrong, or I don't care to know. Either way, the ego has you. Ego means that you will never admit that you're wrong and you'll never learn anything new or do anything of actual true value. It is impossible to rid yourself of ego. It is always going to be present, and thus it is our job to control it, recognize it, and use it for the tool that it is. There are many ways to conquer this ego, and I'll discuss it in a future episode. Shadow work, meditation, willpower, plant medicines, all very powerful. It depends on the sort of person you are, but it just goes to show the ability for us to do it. It's a change away. It's will you do it. Don't become this couch potato, eating your junk, playing your video games all day long. You can dabble in things like that because you're only human. If that's all you do, you're not going to be able to create anything that you really say that you want. The barriers to this self-improvement, belief systems, false religions, because the only true religion is truth itself, self-loathing, trauma, mind control in all of its forms, cowardice, laziness, apathy. In fact, this image goes to show the unholy trinity, I guess you could call it. Laziness, or cowardice, apathy and ignorance. I don't feel like doing it. I don't care. I don't know. You don't seek truth. You don't care for truth. You don't act in truth. As long as those things are all existent, you are going to be in a calcified, you're going to have a shield around you of anything truly beneficial to come into your life, especially to stay there. You may be happy like a pig rolling around in mud, but you don't understand that outside of that pig pen, there's a whole meadow of beauty awaiting you. Finally, understand this. You think of yourselves as humans searching for a spiritual awakening, when in fact you are spiritual beings attempting to cope with a human awakening. Seeing yourselves from the perspective of the spirit will help you to understand why you came here to do and be. We are spirit in a body experiencing reality for a tiny, brief amount of time, just for when the lights shut out, we go back into the absolute sea of infinity. We are here to learn and grow in consciousness, to help others follow the golden rule, understand the laws of nature, discover and harmonise with the truth, embrace your own power and become a bringer of light. We are the chosen ones. Not some fancy priest or some bloodline from an ancient prophet. You are the chosen one. Are you going to take the blue pill or the red? Are you going to open that door of the light, or are you just going to slam it, laugh at it, turn back around and walk down those stairs towards the pit? We can all connect to reality and consciousness beyond the five senses and understand that it is all connected on some level. Humans are truly, in reality, non-separated. We are conscious. Freedom from ego identification and from worldly attachment. In other words, dominion over the self, control over our ego, and the separation from institutional belief systems and dogma. That is key. Many techniques can be employed to learn all of this and to really ingrain it into ourselves and to break the trauma of our past. There are many techniques to center the brain, to focus, be present, confront the trauma, but ultimately willpower, care, discipline, and knowledge will be the surrounding shell that keeps you, that allows you to free your mind. So finally, introspection, mirror work, journaling, meditation, yoga, if done correctly, comparing your belief systems, logical analysis, plant medicines, education, any technique you want to take, and I'll have many episodes of it in the future. These can all be employed to help you remember who you are and work towards becoming your greatest version. We must admit when we are wrong and face our false beliefs, eradicate the isms, eradicate dogma, and understand our minds and our bodies are like a temple. We must fix the damage, repair the weak parts of ourselves, fix the foundations, have these first principles as foundation through identification, confrontation, and transmutation of the negative self aspects. So, after all this information, I'll leave this with you. You want to see change? You want to know the key thing that is preventing this world from really bursting through the seams of potential and growth? You want to know the one thing holding us back? Find your nearest mirror. Look yourself deeply in the eyes and ask yourself, who am I? What do I support? What do I advocate for? What do I work towards? What is my purpose? Why am I here? All these big questions you must ask yourself. And you will, if you ask them long enough and really look within, you will come to see you are the chosen one, that you have immense power dormant, like a dormant snake at the base of your spine, just waiting to rise up and become truly incredible. Immense power lies at your disposal. It's a choice away, and the power is with you. I hope you've appreciated everything I have to say. I hope this video has really helped you understand who you truly are and the utmost potential of what you can become and what the world can become. So if you've stayed this long, you are truly great. You are powerful. You are a star if you've made it this far of this video alone, let alone my other content. So just know you are a doubly chosen one if you've made it this far, because it's not an easy task in this day and age of people such low attention spans. If you're able to make it through this, you are going to go great places. Again, it's just, will you do it? It's an action away. So you are truly great. You can achieve your greatest desires. You're not here to be some little old me down the corner shop doing my job and then going home and fulfilling my pleasures. You are here for a reason, and you must discover it, work towards it, and then you will see immense powers, immense synchronicity and growth coming for you. Be the change you want to see in the world. Learn the truth, grow in consciousness, and the rest, we can only imagine the places we can go. I hope you've enjoyed. Please share this around as much as you can, because if this information was to be spread far and wide, as far as possible, the world, we couldn't imagine what the world could be like if this information could reach as many people as possible. So please share it, drop a like, subscribe, notifications, all of that stuff. Visit the website moralitymatters.co.uk. I really hope you've enjoyed. Check out my other videos. I'll see you next week with another incredible, powerful video. There's so much more to come in all lengths of content. Again, you are powerful if you've made it this far. You are incredible. Thank you so much for listening. The power is with you. You are my greatest ally in this work. Thank you for listening. This has been Morality Matters. I will see you next time. Remember, there is only one rule. Do no harm. No masters, no slaves. The power is with you. Free your mind, and you can do great things. I'll see you next time.